with regards to Islam, we've always been taught that you want to talk to people to keep their questions and their ability to question things in the idea of context, right? Context has been taught to us as a very important thing to kind of do.
Yeah.
But in general, it's more like a natural human idea, right? You want to put context when you're studying history, whenever you're studying something historic or something that's not necessarily empirical in the moment. You want to give context to every sort of side of the story. I think what's funny is I saw this weird reversal happen in 2020. If you don't, you can entertain this idea, which is, there was many people who traditionally were of that side who were demonizing the other side of not being out of context. And now we're seeing the same people being demonized for being out of context.
Yeah.
And it's a really strange concept because for example, like when it comes to like right wing, like the whole right wing racist people, what like they're saying now that they're being taken out of context.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, if that's the case, that should prove to both groups at any point in time that there's something going on there.
Yeah.
And that's probably the person in the middle. And if the person in the middle is the media, you're being then played by both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
That means the people who are playing you initially and telling you that that's the enemy are now flipping the script and coming on you. And that shows you that they really don't have their agenda isn't necessarily aligned. It's more subjective sense of what they need to report on because they need to bring the dollars back, which is a weird corporate perverse incentive model. It's just that people know that the media has bias. I think most people who are listening right now know that the media is corrupt.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. It sounds like some new revelation that we're having on this podcast, but it's interesting to think about when you look at the history of the media. Generally speaking, like we're getting headlines from around the world. It's easier for people to have clickbaity articles, easier for reporters to write opinion pieces rather than factually, because for them, they want to get their Twitter followers up so they can retweet some hit piece.
Yeah.
They can get their Twitter followers up because it's, again, tying into social media. And I think for the longest time, we kind of had the media under control until social media came in and had this weird, another set of perverse incentives, which we'll get to in the following.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.